Hi everyone. Hi and welcome back. This is another great day here at the online summit Connecting Soul Beings. Today it is my pleasure to introduce Maartje Koper from the Netherlands. Maartje is a teacher of the universal laws and a money mindset coach. Now, we had a wonderful conversation all around spirituality, that it's not all fluff. We talk about the law of attraction, alignment, letting go of judgment and guilt. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea and enjoy this great conversation. So what I'm really intrigued about in terms of the work that you do, and I know a lot of people have heard of this, but may not necessarily understand. What is the law of attraction that you are so passionate about?
Yeah, well, basically it comes down to a really simple sentence: ask and it will be given. But with most people, it doesn't work that way because there's something in between the ask and the receiving part. And it may be receiving itself, or it may be limiting beliefs or blocks people experience that what they ask for, it doesn't come into their lives this easy, or they ask from a place of lack instead of a place of abundance, and they want something now, because if they don't have the thing, they can't be happy, so, and that's not a great place to ask from.
No, exactly. And that is that place of lack what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. So how can we move through that? Like, how can we always come from a place of abundance and happiness to ask for what we want to create in our lives?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's necessary to always come from a place of abundance, because sometimes you are just in this state of lack, and it's also not helpful to blame yourself for being in a temporary state of lack, but what helps is to build really great connection with the universe and with spirits and with your guides. And that's also what this summit is a great tool for,
Yes.
Because if you trust the universe and you trust that whatever I ask for, and it comes from a place of soul alignment, and it helps me on my path, then it will come into my life. And it's not up to me to decide in what form and in what time frame. That's up to the universe. We are responsible for the what, and the universe is responsible for the how.
Yes, exactly. And I've noticed that myself as well, and I'm sure a few people that are watching have experienced that themselves as well, because when we focus too much, sorry?
No. Yeah, I was interrupting you. I'm sorry. Just finish your sentence.
Because when you focus too much on the how, it just doesn't seem to really work well, and it seems to be very hard work as well, because we're really chasing something that we haven't even defined ourselves what we are chasing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it can be so much simpler, you can shift into this place where you feel from your soul and from your heart what is it that I truly desire. What's life really about for me? What do I want to spend my time on? What do I want to give my energy and attention to? What kind of people do I want to surround myself with? What are my days like? And if you feel that this really makes me happy, and you shift into that energetic state of being and in this place of receiving, then it's really simple and easy. It's simpler and easier to receive, because when you think, okay, this is the goal I want to reach, and you work really hard to get it, it kind of it's like any relationship. If you chase somebody, they will run away really hard. You know, people don't like being chased.
No, exactly.
And same with your dreams and your desires. You know, it's about seeing yourself as that person, opening up to that place of receiving and what you want to achieve. And what I just wanted to say when I interrupted you was, yeah, I also still sometimes get stuck in that place, you know, of wanting to work really hard, or having goals in my head, and a plan in my head, and making the decision, okay, this is what I want to do, and I get then into the state of being and that working on that goal, and then a couple of months later, and you decide and you feel, oh, but is this what I really want to do? You know, I've been so focused on achieving the goal, but it's not really going anywhere. So is this really what I want to do? Or does this come from a place of ego, or someone told me that's what I had to do, you know? Or maybe I was too much, I was listening to other people's opinions too much, or something like that, you know?
And it seems then also because I mean, the way you describe that, it's almost like we tend to externalize everything, and therefore we're chasing it, and therefore it becomes hard work because you don't necessarily do it from within. Like, we're not looking inside first to really, you know, find out what is it that I really want to create, that really makes my heart sing, that makes me really joyful and happy.
And that's logical, you know, because it's not something we've been taught at schools, and you've always been taught to externalize things. You know, that's the way the whole school system is built. Someone tells you what is important for your own growth. You know, you have to learn to read and write and do math, and to learn a bunch of subjects. You have to do it in this way. And if it's not, and then if you do that really well, you get a good grade, you know? So we've thought other people are valuing how we do things. Other people tell us what's important, yes or no, and they look at how we are doing, and that's how we get our grades, you know? So we've been just taught that way.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, not just the schools, I think, because our parents have also always lived that way and been taught that way as well. They weren't necessarily able then to help us make those shifts. And then now later on in life, we discover what that is and how we can do it differently. So I absolutely agree that, you know, schools in particular, it's all about that judgment, isn't it? It's always about, you know, you do this, then I'm going to judge you on that and give you that value. And that's challenging sometimes for us to work that out and to identify what is that value and what is that judgment, and is that mine? And that can actually prevent us from what we have, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the school system will change, you know, in the next couple of years, or maybe even decades, I don't know. And I also am working with a group of people to do something about that. We are building schools that operate from a whole other paradigm, and just giving children the chance to look within, to value their own talents and value their own desires, and to let those grow. And my daughter is already in a school that's a little different, you know. There's not really you still need to read and write in a certain way to participate in society, but it's not the curriculum that comes first. It's their innate desires and talents, and also other things are really important too, you know, like social skills or developing your intuition and finding silence within yourself, and or yeah, whatever you're interested in as a child, you know. For example, my daughter, she is not really into writing Dutch yet as much, but she loves speaking English. So now she's 8 and her English is fluently. It is with an American accent. It's so funny. You know, she speaks better English than most people. So, and that's what you get when you give them the room to develop those own and that's what we want grown-ups to do as well, you know. And now, I don't know how it is for you, but I went to the school system. It took me about 10 or 15 years to quote unquote find myself. And now I'm finally started living, you know. And that's a great way to do that differently.
Definitely, yeah. And it's really, I mean, personally for me, school has always been very limiting and not a very pleasant experience either. And later in life, working in corporate and becoming a corporate workplace trainer and coach, and then adult education as well, I have seen quite a lot in terms of education and identifying really this is not how we should be doing this. You know, so I love the fact that your daughter is already doing that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but now those are still private schools, so we would really want to change it. Yeah, if I look at the biggest thing I've learned in school is how to adapt what other people ask for of me. But when you grow up and you, for example, you start your own business, and I don't know if there are many business owners watching this, but the last couple of years with the journey I made with my business and inspiring all those people, it really became a pitfall, you know, to just to listen to what everyone told me to do, because everyone tells something different, and I have so much clients to serve, you know, and everyone has different needs, and you get totally stuck in when you keep functioning from that state of being. So that's why I teach people to go within and look at what's really aligned for you and serve people on that way, you know, on that level. And if you do that, then you see that things will flow so much easier, because when you are giving and giving, waiting from a place of, oh, I think this is what people want from me, or this is what my clients want from me, you kind of leave your own aligned space, you know, and you get stuck, and there's no way of creating space and value from that place of being.
Yeah, exactly. Because then again, you're going to externalize it. And you're really relying on others again. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So at what point in your life did you find out that you had to also go within and to be able to then make those shifts for yourself? What was your turning point?
Yeah, I think there were a couple there. It's still a work in progress, you know, because that's also the journey of being an entrepreneur and building a bigger business. You connect with lots and lots and lots of people, and the more people you connect with, every time I connect with more people, I have to change my boundaries of what I am giving and what I'm not giving, you know, because you only have so much time and space and energy. But there were a couple of moments that were really defining for me. One moment was when I was in my early 20s. I was 23, I think, and I wasn't raised in a spiritual way. I also really didn't believe in God or the universe. It was inconceivable for me at that time to ever have a conversation like this. You know, I was also really judgmental of spiritual people. I don't know what the English word is, but in Dutch it's zweverig. I don't know if it's then floaty or something. What's the word?
Oh, yes. Very interesting. What is the English word for that?
Yeah, like
I call it
woo-woo, you
woo-woo
know?
or fluff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I had big judgment about those people, but I wasn't doing really well in my own life. You know, I was working in a job that didn't fulfill me. I was dragging myself to work every day. And it was where I worked. There was a really negative climate, and I held myself there, not because I wanted to, but because I didn't knew there was another way, you know, but just to survive the toxic environment I put myself in from day to day and not doing something that really fulfilled me. And okay, for some people the work was challenging, but for me it was really easy, you know. So there was nothing there that really made me happy, except that I thought I have to go there, because if I don't, then I don't get a paycheck and I can't pay rent, you know?
Yeah.
So, but just to survive, I took a lot of drugs. I took a lot of weed from day to day. Sometimes my day started with me using drugs, you know, just to get through the day. And sometimes in my work, I sneaked away and I did drugs just so I could survive, you know, I could function. But yeah, I wasn't really functioning at all from a place of, yeah, what I now know can be reality.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that that's not really sustainable for your body and for your mental health in the long run. And so those emotions and desires, they kept coming up, you know. So one day I came into my work and someone said to me, "Oh, Maartje, yeah, are you doing okay? You don't look that well, you know." And yeah, I just broke down. I started crying and I couldn't stop crying. I was so unhappy. And yeah, I went home that day and I didn't go back to my work for 1.5 years. And I never went back to that job. I tried, but I was so stuck there. It was not the place where I was supposed to be, you know? So, but it was really interesting because got the book of Louise from someone once. You Can Heal Your Life. And in that book, she wrote that she healed herself from cancer, and she wrote about the power of the mind and how we create our reality. And I started the book once, but yeah, with all my judgment, I was flipping through the book, reading the pages, and I was, oh my God, this is such quackery, you know, this is, I can't even read this. This is such a lie. I never heard of someone healing herself from cancer before. I couldn't fathom it, you know, that idea that you could heal your own life and your own body. It went against everything I was once taught. So I put away the book, but at that point I saw it again and it kind of called me, you know, and I thought, yeah, maybe there is some kind of truth in there, because what I'm doing, it's clearly not working. So I picked up the book again and I started reading it, and yeah, something inside me shifted, you know. I thought, oh my God, this is reality, because, and I also see the evidence, you know, I saw it in my own life, because all the struggle, all the mess I made, I also could see the links between my thoughts and my feelings and the mess I created, and also the physical reactions I had and everything she wrote about. So I got really intrigued by that whole concept of how do we create our own reality, you know? So I started reading everything I could about it, and yeah, I was at home. I had nothing to do, you know? So I spent 1.5 years in the library and reading books and consuming content. And yeah, that's also when I started asking myself questions. if I can do anything I want to do, because that's what law of attraction tells you, you can do whatever it is you desire. I thought, yeah, then I want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to learn everything I can about how we create our reality and write about it, because I love to write. But yeah, there were still so much limiting beliefs. And I thought, okay, there's no one who is ever going to pay me to do that. So then I thought, okay, I have to win the lottery or something. But of course, that didn't happen. But it did give me tools to feel better, you know, yeah, I couldn't quite quit the addiction yet, but I was feeling better, you know. I was happy, I had more energy. So I did go back in a day job, and I had a couple of different ones. And every job I got was suiting me better, was making me happier, but there was still this feeling, it's not what I'm supposed to be doing, you know. I'm supposed to be doing something else. And that desire to build my life in freedom and to quit my job and to just be the boss of my own time and my own life, it became bigger and bigger and bigger. So I thought, okay, I started a blog in the meantime, not to make money, but just to write, you know, to express myself. So I thought, I'm just starting to offer some coaching services. So I did that, but that wasn't making me money. I was like, I offered coaching per hour, and I had 2 online programs which I sold for 25 euros or something. It wasn't really making money, and I was still in that day job. So I thought, yeah, and it was so hard for me to do both and to switch. And when I was working on my business, I was truly happy, you know. I was radiating, and I felt so cool to do it, and I couldn't wait to get home and to start working on my business at night, you know. But yeah, it's hard to combine, because you work 32 hours, you have a family. I had a daughter in the meantime. I have my husband, my friends, and then building my business. And it was, and if I saw the contrast in how happy I was when I lived my passion to, yeah, not being that happy when I was in my day job, I thought, I really have to choose for myself, you know, because now money is the reason why I'm stuck there, because I'm afraid I won't make any money when I quit my job. So, and I thought, well, then I let money dictate my life, and I might as well end up under a bridge or on my parents' attic.
Attic, yeah. Well done.
But everything is better than this, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I just quit. And that was 4 years ago, and I never looked back. And since then, I'm just working on my best business, creating stuff. I created, in the Netherlands, I created like 40 online programs, or maybe even 50. I really lost track of how many. I launched membership programs, I held events, I'm having so much fun, you know. And also, of course, sometimes things are difficult and you bump into problems, and especially with building the business side of things, but that's okay, you know. The main thing is I can always come back to that place of alignment. Wherever I'm at, however I'm feeling, if I'm being overwhelmed or unhappy, or there isn't enough money, I can always find my place back, my way back to alignment, because yeah, I studied law of attraction, so I know how to do that, you know.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of the journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's absolutely amazing. It's just, yeah, how you've really took that on board, even though, you know, especially with the book Louise Hay, I know exactly which one you're talking about, because I was handed that book as well, also by a friend, when I went through a really difficult period and was suffering a chronic disease. That was really powerful, very powerful book. And so it's it's really courageous of you to keep going with that, and then even discovering for yourself that what you are now learning, that you know deep down that that is exactly what it is that you're meant to be doing, and to
Yeah,
persist
but
in
quitting
that.
is not really an option if what you are doing is you, you know? I can't
Mm.
quit me. You know, I
Yes.
can quit everything. I can quit jobs, I can quit partners. I'm with my husband for over 17 years, so I haven't done that yet, but that's possible, but you cannot quit yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay, well, you can end your life, of course, but even then, yeah, you are still with your own soul, you know, with
Yes.
your own
Exactly.
being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That is so true. That is so true. That's pure soul connection. And when you talk about alignment, I know that that is exactly what it is, because you really put yourself on that level. You really reconnect. It's not even a new connection. It's literally reconnecting.
Yeah.
We've all forgotten how to connect back to our soul. And that's exactly
Exactly.
that point. And when we are reminded of how to do it, it's and you do it, and you go back there regularly. For me, it's like coming home, you
Hmm.
know, and it feels so pure, and it feels so light and absolute love that, you know, it's almost, I'd be crazy not to go back there all the time, you know. And that for me is that alignment. And then putting that into utilizing that to then link it to what else I would like to create, and then bringing that into my alignment again. And that's when things start to happen,
Yeah,
you know. And
exactly.
that's, yeah. So how could you what am I where am I going with this? Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe
Okay,
it's
yeah.
because I wanted to say something else about that, because that's also the co-creation with universe, because you
Mm,
are part of the universe, you know. Or, well, it's not even that you're a part of the universe, you are the universe, you know. And
yes.
universe always protects you, takes care of you. So when you're not in alignment, then things never work out, you know. I experienced that last year. I was doing some stuff, and if I look back, I could have known it was not 100% in alignment, but at the
Mm,
time I thought I had to do that to build the business, you know. But
yes.
it didn't work. And now I look at it and I thought, well, of course it was not working, because it's not what I was supposed to do, you know. This is
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to do, just writing, creating wonderful content. And I was doing so much stuff business wise, and universe was really protecting me to let that all go, to come to a point where I basically had no choice but to evaluate everything and look at everything and really look at it, and choosing, okay, what is 100% in alignment, and what am I doing that's not 100% in alignment, and to let all that stuff go, and to go back to the basics again of what I'm supposed to do here, you know. And the
Mm,
moment I did that, it
yeah.
started flowing again, and I had my energy, and I was so happy, and so much space, and I created some contrast when I wasn't listening to my soul. And yeah, it's still there somewhere, you know. I'm still cleaning up a little bit of some mess I made, but it's
Mm,
not really in my reality anymore, in a pressing way, you know. It's
yes.
just,
Yeah.
it's so far away already. And
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
beautiful thing, and also the most challenging thing about creating a new reality, because you have to shift from what you have been creating to what you want to create. And that's
Mm,
challenging for most people, because we learned that we have to be responsible. You have
yes.
to be responsible, take responsibility for your actions, and most people, and it's not that I ignore it if I created something that I don't want, but I'm not focusing all my attention on it, because if I do that, I create more of that, so it's like, okay, what does this ask for me from me? I do that, okay, shift my energy away again, and that's so not what we've been taught.
No, exactly. Quite the opposite, actually, in that sense. So how do we learn about alignment? How can we practice that to get into alignment?
Yeah, well, basically, it's some people, they do it really naturally. They just are born. I think we are all born that way. And if society or our parents or our environment don't take away too much of that, it's more easy to stay in alignment. I see that with my daughter. She really has a clear picture of what she wants. And if that's not the case and you want to learn that, there are so many places these days where you can learn that. For example, through my site, I give away a free alignment journal, and I teach about alignment. I give daily alignment practices. And it's like, sometimes I compare it with starting to work out. If you're not used to moving your body in a certain way. For example, yesterday I did yoga for the very first time. I did it once years ago, but I thought, oh my God, that's so not my thing. But yesterday I suddenly felt called to do a yoga class. So I downloaded an app, took a class, and I was so, it was like, oh my God, this is so strange, because you have to hold your body like this, and it's so unnatural, But if I keep doing yoga regularly, I don't know yet, but if it gets easier and easier and easier, and there will come a day that I don't even have to look at the app. I just know what I'm supposed to do a session, or maybe it's maybe I start taking advanced classes, or wanting to challenge myself a little bit more, or maybe do hot yoga, or I don't know exactly. For example, so that's the same way with alignment. You start doing like an alignment journal or reading a book, starting with some simple daily practices that you can integrate in your daily routine. You start doing that, and then it gets easier. You let go of the daily practices, or you combine a few. You take a few from there, you take a few from there, or you make up your own alignment practice. But for me, the biggest tool I use is journaling. Just sitting down. What am I feeling? Where is this feeling coming from? What do I want to feel, and shift to that new feeling, and then write a new script around that. This is what my new life looks like. This is what this situation is going to be like from now. And not from a place of, oh my God, I can't function in the old. And because that's why most people start with law of attraction and alignment, because they're so done with experiencing heartache and raw emotions. That's what did it for me. I was so done with feeling unhappy. But we live in an inclusive universe. You cannot erase unhappy. You can only shift to happy, and then there is a lot less room for unhappy. But you cannot erase it, because we live in an inclusive universe. So sometimes I also get overwhelmed by sadness or guilt or judgment or whatever, And what I learned is to not have it overwhelm me, but to just, it's here. I give space to it. What does this feeling mean? Because this feeling means that somewhere I'm not in alignment. What am I denying myself? What is universe asking for me? I always say creation. What is creation asking of me? And what am I not doing yet? Where am I not being myself yet. What am I, where am I not aligned? And then I start look at that and find that alignment place back, and then the emotion just disappears.
Yeah, exactly. And those are really good questions. Where am I not being? Where am I not doing things that are in alignment? That's really interesting, and that can be a really confronting question for people as well, because they may take that to self doubt, blaming themselves and being really harsh because everything has to be perfect and things like that as well. And it's really
that was one of that was one of the biggest reasons why I had so much resistance to Louise Hay's book, because I was not looking at it from a place of responsibility, but from a place of judgment.
Yeah.
Oh, I created this, so I am the one to blame. No, I'm responsible, but I don't have to feel guilty about it, because I created it from a place of not knowing. And you cannot be mad at yourself if you simply don't know anything. Then you can, it's, if you train yourself in shifting to that state of mind, it's really going to help you. Because if you don't know something, and even if you know something, okay, you made a mistake, if people really love you, they'll forgive you. Please forgive yourself, learn from it, and move on.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Forgiveness, wow, that's huge, isn't it? For yeah, it's something that I've been struggling with probably for the last couple of years, and it's now finally kicking in that, forgiving myself, forgiving situations, forgiving certain people, and it really frees up the energies, and becoming even more in alignment, and I think from being human is something that can prevent us from really staying in that alignment space as well, because we have all these human experiences, and wanting to stay connected so badly can sometimes cause a block as well, because then we start focusing on it too much as well, and then it's that human side that kicks in most of the time, and that's the judgment again, right?
Yeah, exactly. But that's why I spent also time to really embrace my human side, accepting that I have this addictive personality, and that sometimes in certain cases desires to run away and use something to hide from my reality, it kicks in. So there don't has to be judgment around that. It can be like a creation process, Oh, it's interesting, it's here again. What does this ask for me? Why do I do this? Why is this desire here? What is the true desire? Where am I even running away from? And that's a really interesting thing too, because I think a lot of people don't talk about maybe still doing stuff inside, or you feel inside of you it's not the most beneficial thing for you to do, but then you do it anyway, or you do it sneaky because that's not spiritual. And I think I don't know, but I've been researching this lately, how this is a thing in the spiritual community, because there is this view of people that you have to eat healthy, live clean, do yoga, and be mindful, all those things. But for me, that's a really hard place for me to step into, because I'm super sensitive. I can feel everything of anyone, even from a distance. If I walk, I live in a beautiful house. There is like it's kind of a park around here. But if I exit the gate and I come in a crowded residential area, all those energies, they are there, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, living day-to-day life, it can be a real struggle, you know, to ground yourself, stay connected to yourself. And I think for most people it is that way. I don't see myself ever being like this Zen yoga kind of person that is truly connected. I get frustrated, I get mad, you know, I get mad at people, I get mad at myself, but I also like that energy, because there's a creative power in that energy, in getting mad, you know. It's like, this is my boundary, okay, this is what I'm not choosing anymore, you know. It has great energy and potential. There's great potential in getting mad, and there's also value in in other stuff that we don't approve, you know. For example, with certain types of foods, when you say, oh, you can't eat gluten or sugar or dairy or meat or whatever, but everything vibrates on a certain level, you know. And sometimes it is really good and beneficial for you to take something to alter your consciousness or your state of being a little bit. What is detrimental is the guilt we have around it. You know? And you have to decide for yourself, is this something that's helping me right now? Can I really enjoy it? For example, I had always had so much guilt when I ate sugar, because, well, I'm not one of the slimmest person. There's this whole judgment around, when you're fat, you're unhealthy, you know. Well, now I never get sick. I think I'm so super healthy, but I do have some excess weight. I also think I know why it's there, you know, for protection, and it's also kind of comfy in my body, you know, and it helps me create some stuff. But other people, they have judgment around it. If you visit the doctor, when I visit the doctor, one of the first things he says to me is, well, you have to lose some weight. So I always had this big guilt when I ate a donut or something, and then every bite was, I shouldn't eat this. This is bad for me. Oh my God. Maybe I can't stop eating this, you know? So it's not the donut that makes me fat or is unhealthy for me. It's the guilt behind it, you know, and the judgment we have around it.
Yes.
So, and you can't shift. You cannot let anything go when you don't shift from judgment and guilt to feeling free around it. So that's why I spend a lot of time feeling free with my eating habits and eating what I want when I enjoy it. And now I feel so much better around it. I even lost like 5 kilos, and I didn't even do anything for it, but just release the shame and the guilt, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's really interesting, because when I started doing more of the spiritual work and becoming a Reiki master, doing the animal communication, tuning into yourself, meditation, all this sort of stuff, and you talk to people, and I've had teachers along the way as well. Some of them say, for example, you can't have any alcohol, you can't have caffeine, you know, you can't do this. And I have a glass of wine, I have my coffee, you know, it's like, and sometimes if I have a shot of vodka, I'm better connected. You know, like you say, it has all that vibration. The only thing I have experienced is that when I consciously go into a session of tuning in, I'm not comfortable having a meal straight before I go into a session with a client. But that's because my body's digesting, and I feel it's just too heavy. There's too much going on. I want to feel more calm. I want to be really in tune and very relaxed. So I eat an hour before, or I eat after the session. And that's something that you learn as well. And being woo-woo and things, yeah, people have told me as well, well, how can you be spiritual? You don't walk around in purple and smelling of sage. No, I don't. You know, and it's really interesting how those preconceived ideas puts that judgment out there. And you know, you're exactly right. When you are able to work on that and do things guilt-free and remove the judgment, that will make you so much lighter energetically, and you know, in your case also from a body perspective. And that's the same for me as well. It's
Exactly.
oh wow, we can do so much
Yeah,
harm to ourselves, isn't it?
but this comes down to what you also said, it comes down to choice. Is
Yes.
this something I want to choose right now? Is this serving me?
Yeah.
And if yes, then enjoy it, savor in it, and
Mm.
not judge it. If you're in judgment, then don't do it,
No.
because that will only make it worse. And for example, I hardly drink any alcohol. I almost never drink. I did drink a lot, in the past, but now when I
Mm.
take a glass of wine, it really makes me ill, and I can't sleep as good, and I get these restless legs. So, but
Oh
then it's a
yes.
choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice not to consume alcohol. It's not because I'm not allowed to. It
Mm.
doesn't serve me,
Yeah.
But some things do serve me, and then I do them, but
Yeah.
then it's a conscious choice. And this is a really hard thing, because with things like meat or alcohol, or cigarettes, or other things, there's so much collective judgment and guilt on it. I
Mm.
think if we want to eliminate all the addictions in the world, we have to let go of the resentment and the judgment first. So
Yes.
people, and it's so funny, because when it's a choice, it's not even longer an addiction.
No. No, exactly. Exactly. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Very powerful. Yeah. So is there anything that you would like to share with the audience that you feel that they can take away and practice or implement and just experience?
Well, I don't know. It's mainly a call for you to follow your own alignment, because
Mm.
we are such powerful beings, and if you turn inwards for a second and you kind of feel all the energy that's inside, all this creative energy, and you give that a chance, and you give yourself the permission to let that be and share
Mm.
that creative energy, there's so much possible, and just for
Mm.
you to give yourself that permission right now, and give yourself every day that permission to start creating from a place of alignment. And it's okay if you don't know it all yet. It's okay if you don't know where it's going yet. It's even okay if you don't know what you want to do yet, or if you don't know what you're on earth for. It's all okay, because the process is always the same. Take the first logical step.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you always see what the first logical step is. Sometimes it's going for a walk, sometimes it's watching this masterclass or this interview, and sometimes it's writing something. It can be the inner work, it can be writing a letter to someone, it's phoning someone up, or calling someone, or whatever the
Yeah.
expression is. It can be doing something fun with your children, and it can be creating some powerful content, or building a business. But also, building a business is one step at a time. There's
Mm.
always this one logical step. And I created so much over the last 4 years, because this is how I live. I always take the first logical step, because if you think in the future, things can totally overwhelm you, or it can be like kind of blank space. What is even there? You know, I don't know where this is going. It's not important. Just focus on what's right in front of you and take the first logical step. And if you always do that and you learn to take those steps more and more and more from a place of alignment, and give yourself years to practice this, you know, don't be impatient with it. Yeah, then you're always on the right track, and you don't even know where you are going, because it's effing boring to know where you're going, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if I would see how the rest of my life would turn out, yeah, please kill me now. There's no reason to live anymore, because you already lived it, you know. You saw what the ending is. And no one likes spoiler alerts, you know. But when it comes to our own lives, we have to have a plan. We have to have certainty. We have to know where this is all taking us, you know. No, you don't want to. It's never going to happen. Just follow the trail of breadcrumbs, take the first logical step, and enjoy the moment, you know. Be in the now.
Being so present to the experience that you're having right now. It's amazing. It's amazing. Try it. Is all I can say. Give it a go. There is no such thing as try. You either do it or you don't, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I still use those words too. But if you are really committing yourself, it gets a little easier. Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. Thank you so much, Maartje. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm sure everyone has so much value out of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you, Bianca, for organizing this and giving people the chance to watch these valuable master classes, and giving this valuable content in order for people to make this shift, because it's really important and it's time, and we are on the verge of this great breakthrough, and to have the world be our playground, and summits like this really help to do that. So thank you also.
You're very, very welcome. Absolute pleasure.